Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to share with you exactly how you can build a community on Squarespace in 2024. I think we can all agree that the word communities has become a little bit of a buzzword lately, but even though it is a bit of a buzzword, communities really are the most powerful force any business or brand can create to build a competitive advantage. So my goal with this video is not to tell you how important a community is and how you should have a community for your business, but I want to show you just how accessible it is to build a community using Squarespace. And maybe after this video, you might be inspired to lean in, create a community, and you'll see the benefits, I promise you. Right, so the first thing that we're going to do is identify where you are at. Do you already have a community or do you have an audience? So many businesses and brands out there think they have an amazing engaged community online when actually it's just an audience. One thing that we see very often is where a business or a brand or a personality will think they have this amazing community, develop a product, launch the product, and then there's almost no sales. And that is just a very clear indication that they do in fact have an audience and not a community. So if we were to compare an audience versus a community, an audience is typically built on social media platforms, and there are pros to building an audience on these platforms. There is amazing shareability, so the chances of you being found by your ideal audiences is really good. Retention and engagement is also probably very high because you are meeting your audience members where they spend most of their time, social media. But of course, with those pros, we have some cons as well. Being on social media platforms also means that you are competing quite directly with anyone else that is also on social media, offering the same thing you are. And then of course, a common con or negative that a lot of people experience with social media is you are quite vulnerable to algorithm shifts. So you might often find yourself dragged to create trendy content because it performs well, rather than creating content that is quite authentic to you or authentic to your business. So you do feel that pressure to create quite trendy content. Whereas a community, on the other hand, is way more fluid. Community members often get to interact with each other, and the platforms that communities are generally built on are community building platforms like course platforms, your website, maybe a forum. And the pros of having these community building platforms is you can create exactly what you want to create on those platforms. You set the mood, you set the vibe, you can change the aesthetics, and you are not subject to those algorithm shifts. But of course, the cons are there is not high shareability. Retention might not be that high because you are not meeting your audience members where they spend their time naturally. They have to step away from their native platforms and then log into your website or your platform. So there are those pros and cons with both of these, but I'm going to show you a very simple method of how you can overcome those cons that come with a community building platform. And that is a very simple community building funnel. If you work in marketing or you have any experience with sales, you'll be very familiar with the funnel. With a community building funnel, we utilize both the strengths of the audience and the community. This funnel allows you to build an audience on social media by creating content that is authentic to you, and then your most engaged audience members can then filter through to your community building platform. And it's on your community building platform that you maybe have a shop, you have events, or you have any other affiliated programs or affiliated products or partnerships that you can then market to those community members. You can also, on your community building platform, host them and create the vibe and build out a platform that you know your community members will really benefit from without putting it out into the world on audience building platforms and coming across quite salesy and just not authentic, like I said, leaning into those trends. Okay, so now that we know the difference between an audience and a community, I'm going to share with you exactly how you can build a community on Squarespace. So we all know Squarespace as an amazing website building and hosting platform. But I always say this, Squarespace is way more than just a website builder. Squarespace has a whole ecosystem of products that are really designed and developed to help you scale and grow your business all on one platform. Whenever I work with a client on building a community on Squarespace, I have a very simple formula that I follow, and that is filling up these 4 buckets. These 4 buckets, if filled up, can help you move your website from being a static, boring website that sometimes generates leads to a website that actually generates a lot of leads, generates a lot of income, and actually frees you up through methods of automation. So bucket 1 looks at inbound leads. Squarespace has a lot of tools built into the platform that can help act as this engine to generate leads to your business. These tools are built-in SEO, social media integration, bio sites, connecting Google Analytics and connecting Google Search Console, lead management. This is where when someone interacts with your website, where they fill in a form or they purchase something, they will be added to your lead management system. And like I said, all of these tools combined are meant to act as that engine to generate authentic leads through to your business. We then move into bucket number 2, and that is community building. As I've discussed in some of my other videos, Squarespace has incredible community building tools, again, built into the platform. So if we were to look at a couple of them, that would be Squarespace courses, digital products, so that is putting a paywall in front of your blog, your video library, membership sites, email campaigns, and you can even host a podcast on Squarespace through Squarespace blogs. Now, looking at those 2 buckets, it might seem like a lot of work, and you might be thinking, okay, I have all of these leads coming in. I do have these community building tools that are set up and that are actually nurturing all of these leads that are coming in, but it is a lot of work. And that is where the 3rd bucket comes in, automation. Time is your most valuable asset. We all know this. So automation tools really help streamline your processes, streamline your workflow, and help you work in a way that is effective, but also allows you some time to breathe. Some built-in tools that Squarespace offer to assist with automation is Squarespace's project management. Think Monday.com. Squarespace invoicing and proposals, very similar to platforms like Bonsai. Squarespace payments, so similar to Stripe and PayPal, but in the US right now, you can pay directly on Squarespace, which is really exciting, and it's going to come to the UK and the rest of the world pretty soon. Acuity scheduling, which allows you to automate everything from appointment bookings all the way through to payments for those appointments. Blog post scheduling, and then of course automated emails using Squarespace's email campaigns. Right, so with these 3 buckets filled, you have leads coming in. You are nurturing those leads. You have automation set up, so everything is working as it should. Now it's time to monetize. Passive income. Squarespace's e-commerce capabilities allows you to sell so much more than just physical products. You can sell anything from physical products to services, digital products. Of course, we have courses, we have memberships, we have a video library that you can put a paywall in front of. You can now put a paywall in front of your blogs and podcasts. You can even integrate your Instagram and Facebook shop onto Squarespace as well. And then along with the ability to sell almost everything, Squarespace also has really advanced e-commerce capabilities. I'm going to list a couple of them on the screen over here to really help support you sell on your website. So by using the community funnel effectively, this will allow you to create authentic content that you actually want to create online and build that audience, but then have those authentic audience members filter through to your community building platform. And on your community building platform, that is where you share even more value and even more insight into your topics. So you could have a course, you could have your membership, your blog, a podcast, and so much more. This will also help generate a bit of a roadmap as to which content goes where, how do we sell on audience building platforms versus how do we sell on our community building platform, and of course, how do we build that authentic audience, because at its very core, community building is relationship building. So it has to be authentic from the get-go. So with everything in place, you will notice a bit of a cycle going on. So we have our audience building platform doing all of the lead generation, bringing in a lot of audience members and creating those connections. Then having those authentic connections filter through to the community building platform where you deliver even more value and you can sell and scale that community and then generate passive income. And that cycle just goes on and on and on. And the more you do it, the bigger it gets, the more you grow and the better your community gets. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and I will see you next week.